Okay, so far we have learned about some complex data structures like arrays and objects. Now is the time to learn about map, which is also one of the important data structures in JavaScript. So what is the difference between a map and an object? Map also allows us to store key value pairs. Objects also allows us to store key value pairs. What is the difference? Why do we need map at all if both are serving the same purpose? Well, the very basic difference between a map and an object is that in the map we can store any kind of keys, which means we can store uh, key as an integer, we can store key as a boolean, we can store key as a string, anything. Okay, but in object we can store the keys only as a string or a symbol. Now symbol is yet another topic that we need to touch upon, or we can even skip it, not a problem. So this is the basic difference between a map and an object. Map allows us to store keys of any type. It can be functions, the key can be functions, the key can be object, the key can be any primitive type. Okay, but in objects we can only store the keys which are of type string or a symbol. Okay, now yet another difference between a map and an object is that object basically does not guarantee the order of properties, but in the map it maintains the insertion order of the key value pairs. So let's say if we have inserted key value pair 1 corresponds to 2, x corresponds to y, c corresponds to d in the map, then it is going to maintain the order. When you print the map, uh, you'll find that the orders are maintained in the way that you have inserted, but that is not true with the object. Okay, so these are just a couple of differences about the map and an object. Now we can go ahead and start learning about some syntax to see how we can create a map, how we can work with the map, and then we'll see a couple of more concepts down below as we move forward. Okay, so we will start with creation of the map. Let map equals to new map. Okay, let me start the coca. Okay, now we have created a map. Okay, so let's also try to check the type of this. So map in JavaScript is an object because this thing returns an object. Okay, everything in JavaScript is an object. Okay, even functions are also object in JavaScript, just so you know. Okay, next let's start with adding some values inside a map. In order to add a value inside a map, you have to use that map.set, a set function. Okay, set function takes in two things. Set function takes a key and set function takes a value. Okay, and it returns the map. Okay, remember this, remember this, that set function takes a key, takes a value associated with the key, and it returns the map itself. Okay, so you can basically chain multiple sets. So if I do something like dot, we get to see set again. We can go for set again. Okay, so set basically returns the map itself, and map has a method to it which is set. Okay, it's just normal object oriented programming concepts. So let's try to set something 1 2. Okay, map dot set 1 2, map dot set false true. Okay, if you see, the first difference that I said you about an object and the map was, in the map you cannot in the object you cannot have a key which is different from a string or a symbol. The keys are always strings in an object, but in a map you can have a key of any type. You see, this is not a string, this is normal to the value. Okay, this is a number, this is a string. Okay, so let's try to get the values out of it and see what we get. Console log map.get. Get what? Let's try to go for 1. So you see, we did a get on the string 1, we get a 2. If I just change it to something like 4 and then just pass in 1 here, then we are going to get 4. So this key is different from this key just because this is a string and this is a number. Okay, so both the values are maintained separately. Okay, so if we just go ahead and console log the map itself, then we are going to see that 1 is associated with 2, which is a string, 1, which is a number, is associated with 4, and false is a key which is associated with true. So if we go ahead and do false, we're going to get true. So false is basically a key. Okay, it's not a string, it's a normal to the value that we use in our code on daily basis. Okay, so this is how we can uh, set the value. This is how we can get the value out of that. Okay, just remember the differences. Okay, now I'll just format it a bit. Now if you want to check if map has some keys inside it or not, we can use has method of the map. Okay, so we can go ahead, type our variable name dot has, and then we can pass in our key. Let's say 1. I'll just print the map for the sake of simplicity. So you see, 1 which is there in the map, when we did map dot has to ask, hey, do you have the key? It says, hey, I have 1 as a key in my local store, in my store. I contain it. Okay, so this is the function of dot has method of the map class. Okay, you can also read the definition of has. It says that boolean indicating whether an element with the specified key exists or not. Okay, we can try to go ahead and do same with 1. 1 is also there. If we go for something like true, it says that true is not there. Okay, because there is no key named true here, but false is there. Okay, makes sense. All right, so this was it about map.has. Now if you want to delete delete a member from the map, what you can do, let's try to delete it. Okay, mm, let answer, but let's see what does delete has to return. Delete returns a boolean, which means if we pass a key, if we use our variable which is map, and then we call the method delete on that map that we have in this place, okay, which contains 1 1 and false as a key, and when we pass a key inside this, and if the key exists inside our variable called map, then it is going to delete that, and it is going to return true if the deletion happened successfully. And if the deletion did not happen successfully for some reason, let's say the key that we passed did not exist in the map, then it is going to return false. Pretty straightforward, right? So let's go ahead and pass our key. Let's go ahead and pass 1, and we can console log it. So it says true. Okay, and now when we try to print the map, we are only going to see 1 and false. This particular key has been removed from the map. Okay, now map dot clear. It's pretty straightforward that what it is going to do, it is going to remove everything from the map. So if we just now do a console log and see what does map contain, it's now empty. Okay, so I'll just comment it out for the sake of brevity. Okay, next up, map dot size. Pretty straightforward. Map dot size, so size is a property, it's not a function. Okay, Size is not a function. You can see you can see the errors as well. Map.size is not a function. Okay, so it is a property. How did I figure it out? You can see property is mentioned over here. Okay, if it is was if it was if it was a, if it was a method, it could have told us directly that it was a method. Like in case of has, if you see has, it says it's a method, but size, it says it's a property. Okay, property. Okay, so now the size is 2 because there are only 2 keys available after we deleted one of the keys in the line number 17, which left us with 2 keys. Okay, now next up, map can also use objects as keys. Okay, so let's try that out. Now let's declare an object. Const obj equals to, or let's go const user equals to first name Pawan, last name Kumar. Okay, and now let's try to add this user object as the key in our map. How are we going to do that? We'll again use the same method that we used earlier, map.set. Okay, set takes two things. It takes key and a value, and it returns the map itself, so we can again chain the set method. Okay, so what are we going to do? Map can also use objects as keys. Okay, so let's pass our object user, and then we can associate a value with that. We can associate another object with that, saying that uh, city Bangalore, country India. Okay, so right now we are saying that user object is associated with this object. Okay, so if we do a console log in that, what are we going to see? We already have these two values which was there from our previous addition. Now we have another value which is originating because of this line. So the key is this particular thing, and the value is this particular thing. Okay, the key is user object. Okay, the user object, first name last name Pawan Kumar, and the value is city and the country. Okay, now if we try to fetch the associated value with our object, how are we going to do that? We're going to do map.get, and then finally pass in our user object. Okay, which is acting as a key, as you can see from line number 33. Okay, see, when we did a map.get, and when we passed our key, which is user, it said that this is your value. Okay, let's try to do something weird. I'm not sure what it is going to cause, but const user2 equals to user. Okay, and then let's pass user2. If you see, user2 is still giving us the value back, which is what we passed in this particular line. Okay, so either you go for user or either you go for user2, both are pointing us back to the same value, despite the fact that we did not set user2 as our key in line number 33. How it is happening? It is happening because objects are copied as reference. Okay, objects objects are copied as reference. Okay, that's the reason why this is the thing, because this object is not storing this object in real. It is just storing the address. This thing is just storing the address of this object, and when we did something like this, then user2 again is storing the address of where this object is stored. So both of these variables are pointing to the same address where this particular object is stored in the memory. That's the reason why we are getting map.get user2 back to the same value which we were getting previously when we typed user instead of user2. Okay, I'll keep it as that is, I'll keep it as it is. And now I will move to something uh, opposite of it. Now we are trying. Now we are going to do. Now we are going to see if we can store objects as the key in the object itself. Okay, so let's create an object. Okay, const um, city city1, city name Bangalore. Okay, const city2 equals to city name Mumbai. Okay, spelling is right. Yeah, it's fine. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to create another object. Okay, object equals to this. And now we are going to pass city1 with some value, Bangalore city. And now we are going to store city2 city2 as the key, and then we are going to pass Mumbai city. So what are we going to see? What do you think? If we print the object, are we going to get the same value like we were getting here? Like when we did a map.get user2, we were getting something like this. Okay, let's go ahead and push another value to it. Map.set city, another object, let's say. Uh, okay, const user2. Let's make it user3. I think I already have user2 in this place. Okay, and now user3. Let's pass it something like map Pune. Okay, and now when we try to log map map.get user3, we're going to get something like this, right? What we are seeing here, user2 is associated with Bangalore, India. User3 is associated with Pune, India. Okay, so if we do something like this, okay, if we do something like this as well here in here as well. Okay, let's remove the city and instead write user user and then user3. Okay, and associate this particular thing. Okay, same thing that we are doing above, no difference. And let's see what kind of behavior do we get here. Now when you try to print obj, you see, you get to see the latest value, which is this. Okay, which is city Pune and country is India. So whenever you pass an object as a key to be stored inside the object, then that key which is an object, this key is actually an object that is converted to this particular string, object. Okay, so from this we just saw that we cannot store objects as the key inside an object, because you pass multiple objects, all those objects will be converted into this particular string here, this particular string. Okay, so this user at first place, if I just do a console log here and then console log here, Can you see? At first, we when we stored user as a key, we got to see a value which is Bangalore, India. As soon as we passed a different user, the value of it was changed, but the key remained same. Okay, so this is the limitations with the object. We cannot store uh, objects as a key inside the object. That's a problem. Okay. Okay, so we can chain map.set 22 44. We can again use set and pass 33 42. We can again use set and pass this. When you try to print map, you see all the things that we added in the first line, in this particular line, has been added to this place as well in one go. Okay, this is basically what a chaining is. Okay, now we can go ahead and try to do some iterations over map. Okay, so if you want to do some iterations over map, you can use for of loop for const item of map dot keys. Okay, this is going to return us all the keys. So if you see, we have a couple of keys. If I just log the map here, then we are going to get a lot of entry. Actually, it's not able to print completely, but keys map.keys is going to return all the keys that is available inside the map variable. Okay, so we had a couple of keys like one false and then this object and then this another object. Okay, if you want to just print out the values, okay, just the values of the map, we can do something like item of map dot values and then just console log the item. You see, one was associated with 4, false was associated with true, and then this particular object was associated with this particular object, that Pawan belongs to Bangalore and Naman belongs to Pune. Okay. Next up, we can have map.entries. Okay, we can also use the same thing, const item of map.entries. What it is going to return? It is going to return the entire object as an iterable. So when we do console log and then we try to print the item, we're going to see all the key value pairs. If you can see down below over here, the first item which was printed, let me just move this so that we can see it better. Okay, so the first thing over here, this is from where it's coming. You can see line number 77. So line number 77. Okay, the first thing of the key of the map was 1 4. The second thing of the map was false true. The third thing of the map was this. This is the key and this is the value. Okay, the fourth thing of the map, which is the last thing, this was the key where the first name was Aman, last name was Hello, and Aman belongs to Pune, which is the value of it. Okay, so map.entries returns an iterable of key value pairs for every item in the map. So we have these three things. Okay, you can say. So when we do map.entries, it is going to return this entire thing in single iteration, and in the next iteration it is going to return that entire thing. In the third iteration it is going to return the entire thing. In the fourth iteration it is going to return this entire thing. Okay, this is the key value, this is the key, this is the value. So in the fourth iteration it is going to return that. In the fifth iteration it is going to return this. Okay, this particular thing. And this is basically how we can loop the map. Okay, with the help of keys. Only keys is only going to return you the keys that is there inside the map. Values is only going to return the values that is there going to that is there inside the map associated with the key. But entries is going to return the key value pair in every iteration. Okay, this is basically looping of the map. So as we saw before, this is how we can print the map completely. We can even omit this entries and then just keep map. The output will remain same. It will print the key value pair. One is the key, 4 is the value, false is the key, true is the value. This object is the key which belongs to this value, which means Pawan belongs to Bangalore, and it goes on for the rest of the items in the map. Okay. Map also has a for each. Okay. So for each takes like we have a for each in our array. we have for each in our map as well. So it takes value, it takes the key, and then takes the map, which gives the access to the entire map in every iteration. Okay, so you can print the value. This we go with the value, and then you can print the key. Okay, this is also one of the ways through which we can iterate the map. Okay, not a problem. Now let's go ahead and try to do something else. Let's now try to construct a map from an object. Okay, so let's create an object. Uh, User object, first name Pawan, last name Kumar, city Bangalore, and country India. Okay, now this is a plain object. Okay, and now we want to construct a map using this particular object. Okay, how can we do that? So we can do something like const user map equals to new map, and then it has a couple of overloads. We can go ahead and see what does it take. It takes entries. Okay, so we can do something like object dot entries, and then pass the user object. What does entries do? It returns an array of key values of the enumerable properties of the object. So if you try to just console log, that what does it do? You can see what does object dot entries return. So what does it return? Let's go ahead and check in the console. This will provide a much better way to see things clearly. So it returns an array. Okay, first array, first object in the array, first element in the array contains an array. And what is that array? The array contains the key, and the array contains the value. In the second one, if you see, the second item of the array contains an array, and the array contains two items. The first item is the key, which is this one. The second item is the value. I forgot to tell you that there is another way of creating a creating a map. Okay, we can do exactly something like this that we are seeing here. Const user map equals to new map, and then we can pass an array. Okay, we can pass an array like first name Pawan. Okay, we can pass another array saying that what is the issue here? Let me try it once again. Map user equals to new map, and then first name Pawan. Iterator value first name is not an entry object. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, oh my God. Uh, I was doing it fine, but I have to pass this thing in this particular format, which is basically an array of an array. So if you see, this entire thing is an array, and 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 the array contains yet another array, which is of size 2, size 2, size 2, size 2. Okay, so I have to pass in this particular format. So let user map equals to new map, and then this is the array, and now we can start passing our key value pairs. First name comma Pawan. You can put a comma and pass in the another one. Last name equals to Kumar. And then we can go same with city and the country. Okay. And then country should be wrapped in a quote, and then the value of it. Now when we try to print the map, user map, it will be exactly same map that we have been constructing all the time with the help of map.set. Okay, we are adding, we can add the values to a map using map.set, right? So this is how we can construct. So this is how we can also construct a map with the help of array. Okay, and just now we saw what does this object.entries return. It also returns array, as you can see from here in this particular line. This particular line logs this particular value, which is basically an array. So user user obj, it returns the array. We can pass the value. We can pass the value to our map. Okay. Um, user map2 equals to new map, and then we try to console log user map2. We're going to see the same value as it is there in this particular user map. Okay, because so there is just a very simple reason to that. Okay, object.entries return this kind of data. It returns this shape of data. Okay, and that's the reason why this line and this line has no any difference. It doesn't have any difference, except that we are manually adding the data here, and in this particular we are just iterating through the user object, and then we are returning this shape of data, which is array, and then we are passing it to map, and then a new map is getting constructed. So this is how we can construct a map using an object. These are the two ways of creating a map. The one is this, and another one is with the help of dot set. And yeah, this is also we can construct a map from an object. Okay, now let's go the reverse way. Okay, let's try to go the reverse way and see what do we have. We want to construct an object from a map. Okay, so how can we do that? We want to construct an object from a map. So let's first of all define a map. Okay, fruits equals to new map. Okay, then add a couple of data. Fruits dot set mango sweet. Fruits dot set guava not sweet. Fruits dot set um, cannot find a fruit name anyways. So this is a map. Fruits, it contains two things, mango and guava, along with their flavors. Okay, now we want to construct an object out of this map. How can we do that? We can do that with the help of object dot from entries. Okay, and then we can pass the fruits. So you see, we get the plain JavaScript object out of it, not something which is we don't get a map out of this. Okay, so we can also try to assign it. Const fruit obj equals to something like this. Okay, then when we try to print the fruits object, we see the difference. Fruits is a map as we just declared here, and then we tried to construct a plain JavaScript object with the help of a map using object.from entries. And what it takes a map. Okay, it takes a map as an input parameter. We passed a map and then we assigned it to fruits object so that we get a plain JavaScript object out of it. So this was a bit about the map. It actually went quite long. So next up, I'll be covering set, and till then you can just enjoy watching it. That's all. Thank you.